us. Now, the United States recently expanded its travel ban to include several African countries, sparking strong reactions across the continent. Now, the African Union criticized the move, calling for a more balanced and evidence-based approach, arguing that such blanket restrictions damage diplomatic ties and are not justified by clear security reasons. Now, in response to these restrictions, some African countries have taken retaliatory actions. Chad, for instance, suspended the issuing of visa to U.S. citizens, mirroring the visa limitations placed on its nationals. Now, the situation has created a diplomatic rift that may worsen if mutual respect and dialogue are not restored.
Colleges and universities, executive order, very important to all of us. This group has been fantastic, many of which we were with yesterday, and, and really developed something very special. So thank you all for being here. Thank you, Mr. Vice President, also Mike, for being here. It's a very important moment, and a moment that means a great deal to me. This month has been a wonderful opportunity to celebrate African American history and to begin working together to create a better future for African Americans and universities and colleges and everything that is African American. Today we're taking action to help make that future happen and that future better. Historically, black colleges and universities are incredibly important institutions woven into the fabric of our history, just about like no other. Church is very important, right? Yes. Colleges and universities. Come here. My defender. He's Education has the power to uplift. It has the power to transform, and perhaps most important, education has the power to create greater equality and justice in our lives. That's why today I'm thrilled to be signing an executive order to recognize the importance of historically black college and university. In my first term, my powerful travel restrictions were one of our most successful policies, and they were.
So let's quickly take a look at pictures from when President of the United States, Donald Trump, banned these African countries.
In my first term, my powerful travel restrictions were one of our most successful policies, and they were a key part of preventing major foreign terror attacks on American soil. We will not let what happened in Europe happen to America. That's why on my first day back in office, I directed the Secretary of State to perform a security review of high-risk regions and make recommendations for where restrictions should be imposed. Among the national security threats their analysis considered are the large-scale presence of terrorists, failure to cooperate on visa security, inability to verify travelers' identities, inadequate record-keeping of criminal histories, and persistently high rates of...
Now, our guest joining me on the conversation, we have Professor Ntsikelelo Breakfast, a political analyst, Nelson Mandela University. Thank you so much for joining us, Professor Ntsikelelo Breakfast.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, so we have little time on our hands, but you could just go ahead and share with us your thoughts on the travel ban. You know, President Trump's new proclamation bars entry to nationals from 12 countries and also imposes partial restrictions on 7 others. And he still did say that, you know, there are more to come. What are your thoughts?
Well, if the rationale behind is to protect the territorial integrity of the U.S., if the rationale behind is to protect national security and human security, then that is all well and good. But the problem with Trump is that he has been putting the blame on foreign nationals, and he has not been treating them well. He has been using a blanket approach. I mean, for instance, you know as well as I do that there were South Africans that he allowed to have permanent residence in the U.S. while taking away the privileges of other foreign nationals in the US. So to me, that is an issue of racism. So he has been applying double standards. I don't think that he has been fair and square in terms of applying that principle.
Okay. Now, what are the negative impacts, that might come with this? Because the African Union has actually warned of negative impact on people-to-people ties, educational exchange trade, and even border diplomatic relations, that have been carefully nurtured over the decades.
You see, you must bear in mind that people don't go to the US only to look for employment. For instance, some of us who are academics, we've got relations with other scholars around the world. So now, if I want to engage in an intellectual exchange with other intellectuals, I might have a problem to do that. So Trump has been really doing things that are irrational. For instance, he is on record having said that if people criticize him on social media by displaying, something that doesn't sit well with him, he will turn them away when they come to the US. So those are the sorts of things. And also, scapegoating the challenges of the US, putting the blame on foreign nationals, even though some of the problems have nothing to do with them.
Okay, now, what about Chad's tit-for-tat suspension of U.S. visas to its citizens? Would you say that it was a proportionate response?
Look, like I said, if the motivation behind is to protect the territorial integrity and national security, then that is all well and good. But the motives of Trump, they don't make sense. I don't know, he has been on a crusade against foreign nationals. He has been on a political mission to ill-treat them, especially the ones that are not white. While the ones which are white, sometimes he treats them with a kid gloves. But this has really negative diplomatic implications on a whole range of, in terms of public diplomacy. Because citizens go to the US for different reasons.
All right, now you talked about, I know you're running on time now, but you talked about, how citizens go to the U.S. for different reasons, yes. Now, the ban is to be reviewed every 180 days. What uncertainty does this create for the likes of international students and even professionals, especially those whose work, are in tech and health cares, those who work in that sector, in those sectors, and they rely on stable visa regimes?
My view is that the motivation behind this policy is not done in good faith. This policy is meant to purge people who might be holding, some of them, certain political views against the US. You know that Trump is on record having said that he will not allow students who are leftist to study in the universities of the US.
Yeah.
What is that? What does that have to do with him? People can subscribe to any paradigm. If they want to critique a particular society through certain lenses, it's got nothing to do with him. So that's why I'm saying that he's really playing politics. This policy is irrational. Really, the US is going to lose a lot of talented students in particular. But of course, there might be other people who want to engage in other diplomatic relations as citizens who want to enter the US, but now they will be turned away because of this policy.
All right. Well, I think we'll have to wrap up here. Thank you so much, Professor Ntsikelelo Breakfast, political analyst at Nelson Mandela University. And with that, we conclude today's episode of The Conversation. Do not forget to catch up on all missed episodes on our YouTube channel at News Central. You can also watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Go TV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube.